2019 is coming to an end. Before we know it, it's going to be 2020. What's going on, you guys? Slim here to reflect upon what playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2019 has taught all of us. If that sounds interesting, we're going to hop into it. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing. Be sure to hit that notification bell. It'll let you know when I upload videos. And hopefully you guys enjoy the video. If you do, be sure to give it one of these. It helps me out more than you know. But I want to give a huge shout out, first and foremost, to you guys. I compiled in my community tab your guys' responses, what playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2019 has taught you. If you've watched other channels, they've talked about the good things that happened in 2019, the bad things that happened in 2019. And, you know, I think they had some amazing things to talk about. We saw a lot of great things happen in the game. We saw a lot of crazy things happen in the game. And we saw some not so great things in the game that happened. But that's every game. You know, you're going to have your good, you're going to have your bad. But at the end of the day, I love this game. I know you guys love this game. That's why you're watching this channel. That's why you guys keep playing through every crazy format. And I've compiled your guys' answers as well as my personal feelings on what I've learned in 2019, and yeah, we're gonna get into it. So for myself in 2019, the things I've learned, and they may seem pretty basic, but I've learned that any deck can go through a bunch of iterations and changes at the drop of a hat. My example for you guys is Thunder Dragon. So when I first picked up Thunder Dragons, you guys might not even remember, but I posted a picture when Thunder Dragons first came out. I got the whole deck thanks to my vendors that I had access to. I got the whole deck like pretty early on, and it was crazy. I switched from another deck, and I was going to play Thunder. I was going to give it a try, and I was just ready for it. It was a brand new deck, and I was playing pure, of course. Cards like Phantasme, cards like Nibiru, none of that stuff really existed. So we were just playing a pretty basic list. We based it off of like the Niagara build that we saw. We saw a lot of things with the deck, but the deck went from pure to Combo Thunder, and Combo Thunder to Danger Thunder first, actually. So first was Pure Thunder, then it went Danger Thunder, then it went to the Sekka's Light Wombo Combo build, then it went to the Crusadia build. It went through so many iterations, the Sekka's Light build, the Melody, and Allure of Darkness build, back to Pure, and now you have the Draco Net Wombo combo, and you still have Pure in the meta. And that is insane. That is so many iterations for the deck to go through. Other decks like Sky Strikers had their going first versions or going second versions, the versions that played Utopia Double, the versions that didn't play Utopia Double, the versions that played Card of Demise, the versions that didn't play Card of Demise, etc., etc. I think a lot of decks went through a lot of changes, still remained, the same core of their deck, but, a lot of things did change, and the strategy behind the deck changed. And that's something I learned in 2019. Probably the most, I think the only time that I can remember where I felt like a deck really changed, but not like changed like super dramatically, was when I was playing regular Dino Rabbit and switched it to Macro Rabbit, and you had to change your card selections. Like Soul Taker was more important than playing Smashing Ground. Macrocosmos was insane in the main deck, stuff like that. For all you OG Slim fans that remember when I played the hell out of Dino Rabbit. But it's one of the main things I learned in 2019. Another thing I learned in 2019 playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that, like I always stress in every video, I learned a lot from all the games I lost. And let me tell you, I lost a hell of a lot of games, you guys. I won a good amount. I lost a lot too. And I'll tell you, I took some real beatings. I'm not going to just sit here and say that I did great. I took some real beatings at some of these events. I got 2-0'd by this one Orcus player. I'll never forget it. I just got utterly destroyed, and I was still able to play, but I just got outplayed and destroyed, and it really just opened my eyes to just how high caliber some players can be and how well they know their deck and how little I know about certain interactions, and those are things I need to learn. And that's the thing, is I walked away from that match, even though I was a little disgruntled, losing sucks, I walked away knowing that, okay, I learned something new, and I'm going to move forward from it, and I'm going to turn it into a positive instead of a negative. Because let's face it, losses, they suck, but you can turn them into something positive. Another thing I learned, and this is probably the most important thing I learned in 2019, I think more than any other year I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, is that the players that do consistently well put in the work. And I can't stress that enough. Jesse Cotton is the epitome of what a super dedicated Yu-Gi-Oh! Player should be. He goes to every event, he practices endlessly, and the results speak for themselves. He has won a UDS, YCS, he's been to Worlds how many times? Like 3 or 4 times. He's done it all and is still going to continue to do it all. He keeps innovating, he keeps changing decks. When he does deck profiles, his explanations are next to none as far as to why he plays certain cards he plays, and you really can see just in the way he delivers his deck profiles, the way he plays, how well he knows the game, how much time he's dedicated to the game. And that's really inspirational. For a player like me, I think a lot of you guys, you all have like a favorite player, you all have players you look up to, and he's one of them. Dominic Couch is one of them. There are so many players who put in that time and they really show it in their results. And that's one thing I can tell you is that, especially going forward in 2020, if you're really trying to take the next step, if you're trying to be super competitive, or even just leave the casual atmosphere and become a more competitive player, you got to put in the time. Dueling Book is a great resource. Well, I don't really think YGO Pro is, but Dueling Book is a good resource. Playing at Locals is a great resource, and there are a lot of things you can do to put in the time, and you have to be patient with it. That's another thing I'd say I learned in 2019 is you need to be patient with your Yu-Gi-Oh results. You're not going to just win every game out of the blue. You're not going to turn into a champion overnight. One of the best phrases I've heard is that it's a marathon, not a sprint. And that couldn't be more true. It is a marathon. It's a marathon to, keep going. You have to have endurance. You have to keep going as a player. You need to, like I just explained, get up from your losses and continue to learn more. And that's one of the greatest things I can take away from this year is that while I had a decent year, not one of the best years, I had a decent year for the little amount of events I was able to play. I was able to play a decent amount of events. There were a lot more. I wish I could have played more events I could have made it to, but, to each his own. It was a good year and I learned a lot. I got to play decks I enjoyed. You guys know how much I love Thunder. You know how much I love Mech 9 Invoked. Learning to play the Grandmaju deck and actually growing to like it as one of my favorite decks. It was just amazing. And that's one thing is that you can learn from all of that. But those are like the main things I learned in 2019. I'm not going to spend the whole video. There's a whole list of things I could say I learned in 2019 for Yu-Gi-Oh! Those are the main ones I wanted to highlight. And now I'm going to just take your guys' ones that I have written down here. And again, shout out to you. I'm going to read these verbatim and, talk about them a little bit and just see what you guys say. But one of the best things I took away from this was that just because you're playing a good deck, it doesn't mean you're as good as you think you are. It takes so much practice and dedication to really succeed at the game. That couldn't be more true. You could play the best deck. You could play the best cards. You could play the most expensive foreign cards in the game and still not be good at the game. You could put a price tag on the game to an extent. It's not going to make you better. You could have every prize card. You could play the Chaos Emperor when you had the Thunder deck, and you could still lose to someone who doesn't have the prize card, and it's because it's a difference in skill. Just because you have money, just because you have access to the cards, it does not mean you're going to be a good player. Having good cards does not make you a good player. Putting in the time and the dedication makes you a good player. It makes you learn, and it makes you hungry to keep learning, because as we all know, knowledge is power. But there's that. Another thing you guys said is that players' skill and comfort with the deck matters significantly more than playing the best deck. Very true. That's very true, actually. You could be playing a tier 2 deck and still succeed more than someone who's playing a tier 1 deck because of your understanding of the deck. That is fantastic. Like, shout out to you guys again. That is just a fantastic part of the answer. Tournaments are high pressure situations, and experience gives you the space to solve novel problems. This is my second year of being competitive, and 4 out of 5 events I piloted Lunalight Orcus even back in January before Ding and Crescendo. So they were playing it before Lunalight Orcus really became like one of the best decks in the game. The one event I didn't play it at was YCS Portland, where I played Pendulums, and the difference between my ability to solve problems was night and day. So there you go. So there's a perfect example. You switch to a deck because it's the supposed best deck, but you yourself are not familiar with it. You might win some games, but you're not going to win in the long run because your ability, like they said, to solve the problems that you're familiar with is going to be like night and day. Like, I'll be honest, if I picked up Pendulums, I wouldn't know what to do. I'd be like, Jeremy, I need help. Steven, I need help. Pendulum Gods, I need help because I really don't know what I'm doing. Like, I can just honestly say that. And that's one thing to take away from that is if you are comfortable with the deck, if you have played the deck and you know the ins and outs of that deck, do not doubt yourself. Play the deck you know the best. Next, we've got, I like some of these. Some of these are funny. I'm going to be playing in the same format until I get a new mechanic. Maybe. I know. Everyone's been saying the format's been pretty stale. Yes, it's been a ton of Orcus. Will the ban list fix that? Maybe. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's totally true. You can say, yeah, we've been playing in pretty much the same format. Sky Strikers, Thunder Dragon, Salamangreat, Orcus, Rogue decks, True Draco. Shout out to Slops. You already know. We've been playing in that format for a while, so makes sense. Another thing is learn how you like to play and find a deck that matches your play style. Oh, I like this. Also, unless your deck becomes unplayable, do not give up on your deck, as well as regional tops. Topping a regionals with a deck you like is just as important as a YCS top. It doesn't matter how you get your invite, just get it. You're preaching to the choir, man. That's totally true. Play a deck you love. I think one of my favorite invites I ever got was with Mech 9 Invoked. I love that deck. You know, getting an invite with Thunder, getting an invite with the World FTK, all these different things. You know, again, if you're playing a deck you enjoy, you're going to enjoy your tournament experience so much more than if you just picked the latest meta deck and you don't know what the hell you're doing and you take early losses because you're not skilled in the deck, you're not well versed in the deck. Yeah, I want to have a good tournament experience. I've made that mistake. I will admit, I played decks just because I thought thought they were the best deck, and I hated playing them. Did I have a good tournament experience? No. Did I do well? No. Would I do it again? Hell no. So definitely you can take that away in 2019 and going forward into 2020. Play what you like, stick with it, and be comfortable in any tournament atmosphere. I've learned no matter how many years of experience playing this game, there will always be awkward rulings that make no sense. Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not the smartest when it comes to ruling. Some rulings just go right over my head, and I really have to get help. Like, I'll tell you, there have been so many interactions at regionals, YCS nationals, I gotta call the judge. My opponent looks at me like I'm dumb, and it's like, I'm sorry, man, this interaction hasn't happened for me yet. Like, if any of you guys have ever played me, have ever had to call the judge, it's not because you did something illegal, it's because I have no idea what's going on, and I need clarification, because if this happens again, I don't want to lose because I wasn't familiar with it. So 100% agree that rulings are important. Try to get your rulings down. It's something I need to learn. We can all learn, and yeah, it'll benefit you in the long run. And the last thing you guys said is that outside of the hundreds of unique rulings, such as double fog blade, losing to one ego booster, deck comfortability is crucial. Knowing how your deck solves problems is just as important as knowing the problems in the format. Yes, yes, and more yes. So again, it all goes back to playing what you know and what you love. If you know the interactions of your deck, you're going to be successful. You want to know how to solve problems with your deck. Because what does a Yu-Gi-Oh deck do? When you're going first, you try to build a board. You try to create something that your opponent cannot break. When you're going second, you're trying to break a board that has been built. You're trying to solve a problem. That's the best way I can say it, is you're trying to solve a problem. Your deck, your cards, your hand, your graveyard, everything is your tools to fixing that problem, to nullifying it, and to winning the game. And I think those are the things that you can take away the most. But that is what I have learned. That is what we have learned in 2019 playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And down below in the comments, I'd like to know what you guys have learned from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! This past year. It's been a crazy year, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but I think at the end of the day, we all still love the game. We're all still gonna play, and it's amazing. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. It really does help out the channel, and I do appreciate it, and hopefully we can have more discussions like this in the future. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Hope you guys enjoyed. Welcome to 2020 in just a couple weeks, and it'll be exciting. I can't wait to see what happens in the game. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.